Ever notice how some people stay completely calm when someone gets aggressive while you're drowning in adrenaline? Here's what they know that you don't. Fear and confidence trigger the exact same response in your body. The difference isn't what you feel, it's what you do in the 3 seconds after. And once you understand this, no one will ever intimidate you again.
Here's what most people get wrong about fighting. They think the goal is to not feel fear, but fear isn't the problem. The problem is what you do when you feel it. Let me explain. When someone steps into your space aggressively, when their voice gets loud, when they square up, when tension spikes, your body immediately floods with adrenaline. Your heart rate shoots up, your vision narrows, your muscles tighten. This is your sympathetic nervous system activating. And here's the thing, this response isn't weakness, it's not something wrong with you, it's your body preparing for action. But most people interpret this surge as panic. They feel their heart pounding and think, I'm scared, I need to get out of here. And that mental interpretation, that story you tell yourself about what's happening, is what creates the intimidation. The person who never gets intimidated feels the exact same physical response. The difference is, they've trained their brain to recognize it differently. Instead of thinking, I'm terrified, they think, my body's getting ready. Same sensation, completely different outcome. So the first shift you need to make is this. Stop labeling the feeling as fear. Start recognizing it as activation. Your body doesn't know the difference between fear and readiness. Only your mind decides which one it is. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most intimidation doesn't come from actual physical threat. It comes from perceived dominance. And dominance is communicated through body language, tone, and energy, not actual violence. Think about it. Someone gets in your face, they puff their chest, they raise their voice, they invade your space. What are they doing? They're testing whether you'll submit. And most people do, not because the other person is dangerous, but because their nervous system reads the display as a threat and tells them to back down. But once you understand the mechanism, you can override it. Here's how. When someone tries to intimidate you, they're expecting either fight or flight. Either you'll escalate and get aggressive back, or you'll shrink and retreat. Both reactions give them what they want, because both prove they affected you. The move that breaks intimidation entirely is this. You stay neutral. Not passive, not aggressive. Neutral. You hold your ground without moving forward, you maintain eye contact without staring them down, you keep your posture upright but relaxed, and you don't react emotionally to anything they say. This creates a psychological short circuit, because intimidation only works when the other person sees that their display is having an effect. When you remain unmoved, not because you're forcing it, but because you genuinely aren't interpreting their behavior as a threat, they lose their leverage. And here's the part most people don't realize. This isn't about being tough, it's about being grounded. Grounded means you're connected to your body in a way that allows you to stay present instead of getting swept into emotional reaction. And you develop this through one simple practice. Breathing. I know, that sounds too simple, but stay with me. When someone gets aggressive and your adrenaline spikes, your breath immediately becomes shallow. You start breathing high in your chest. This signals to your brain that you're in danger, which amplifies the fear response. But if you consciously slow your breathing, deep into your belly, long exhales, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system. This is the part of your nervous system that calms you down. So in the moment someone tries to intimidate you, you don't focus on them, you focus on your breath. 3 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Repeat. This does two things. First, it regulates your nervous system so you don't spiral into panic. Second, it keeps your attention internal instead of reacting to their external display. And when you're not reacting, you're not being controlled. Now let's talk about eye contact. People who get intimidated tend to either look away or stare aggressively. Both are mistakes. Looking away signals submission. It tells the other person, you're dominant, I'm backing down. And staring them down signals challenge. It tells them, I'm willing to escalate this. The move that communicates confidence without escalation is soft eye contact. You look at them, but you're not locked in. You're present, but you're not rigid. Think of it like this. You're looking at them the same way you'd look at a stranger walking past you on the street, aware but not engaged, calm but not indifferent. This subtle shift in energy completely dismantles intimidation. Here's the final piece. Intimidation only works when someone believes you value their opinion of you. The moment you stop caring whether they think you're weak or strong, tough or scared, their tactics lose all power. Because they're not actually threatening you physically, they're threatening your self-image. And if you're not attached to performing strength, there's nothing for them to attack. Most people spend confrontations trying to prove they're not afraid. And that effort, that need to demonstrate courage, is exactly what keeps them locked in fear. The person who never gets intimidated doesn't need to prove anything. They simply exist in their body, calm and present, regardless of what's happening around them. So here's your practice. Next time you feel that surge, whether it's in a confrontation or just a tense conversation, don't label it as fear. Recognize it as activation. Slow your breath, soften your gaze, and hold your ground without reacting. You're not trying to win. You're not trying to dominate. You're simply refusing to be moved. And when you do that consistently, intimidation stops working on you. Not because you became fearless, but because you stopped mistaking sensation for weakness. The body that stands still is far more powerful than the one that flinches.
If this changed how you see things, subscribe, because we're just getting started on how your mind really works.